Hello, this is the review of the G&G AK5c assault rifle, airsoft gun by G&G. So this is the AK5c, which is a derivative of the FNC assault rifle, chambered in 5.56 in real life. Yeah, so I've had this gun for a couple years. I bought it used back in January of 2022. I've used it 2 times out in the field, both outdoor games, and both with some modifications to it. I believe when I bought it, it was completely stock. So I'll mostly be talking about its stock performance when I get to that part of the video. However, I think what I did to it is to talk about the upgrades. As I do with most of my guns, I either put an R-hop or flat-hop barrel in it. This one I put an R-hopped barrel. I believe the pre-installed R-hop barrel, Prometheus barrels I got them on e-Vike for about $80, which I have in several of my guns, different brands, but same concept, and highly recommend the pre-installed R-hopped Prometheus barrels. Lambda, I know makes good ones too. PCI, I believe, is another brand. Anyways, those pre-installed R-hop barrels are quite nice in my opinion. Back to this replica. So we'll start just talking about its externals. So start off the flash hider, which is painted black by its previous owner. It'll come, looks like a relatively bright orange, but it is a, no, actually this looks like a plastic flash hider. But I do like the design of this flash hider. As you see, it's kind of grooves right there. It looks like it is designed to thread on some sort of suppressor. I'm not sure what suppressor that would be, but and then it has 2 sling loops, one here and there. I've never actually used those 2 sling loops, but they are metal of some sorts, a pretty nice quality metal it appears. Along with this little outer barrel section is metal. Then you get to the front sight / gas block assembly up top here. This like a brownish color is metal, along with the front sight, and this gas block is metal, I believe, as well. The front sight there, it flips down, and it actually has this little post right there. Kind of useless. It's a very low sitting sight, so if you have any sort of face mask, it's quite hard to look down the sights with such a short or a low sight. However, then you get to the handguard right here. This green, really nice handguard in my opinion. Really nice. It's rather thick. It's plastic. However, it's a nice feeling plastic, and it's green, which is really cool. This whole gun, its theme is green, obviously. However, this handguard serves 2 purposes. One, of course, being your handguard gripping the gun. However, the battery compartment is also located in this handguard. To access the battery compartment, you push down on this part, that black part of the handguard, and then this half of the handguard will pop off. That's what the inner half of it looks like. Your battery, I recommend a very thin LiPo 7.4 or 11.1 LiPo battery. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually a quite easy fix, or an easy fit, I should say. Small Tamiya type connector. You'll have your fuse right there, and then the LiPo, the 7.4 or 11.1 butterfly LiPo, will fit nicely in between the barrel, actually, which is a metal barrel, and then your metal gas tube right here. Actually, quite nice feeling gas tube. I have never taken the gas tube off, but I imagine it's relatively heavy, especially compared to the Galil one that I reviewed earlier. However, to take this handguard off, actually, to take the whole thing off, this whole brown and rail right here. Actually, yeah, the rail. You'll see it kind of. There's a clip right there. The clip. You'll take this pin off. You'll just push that in. I'm not going to do it on the video, but it's quite simple. You push this pin in, and you take the pin out, and then you kind of like jiggle it forward, and then this clip will unclip, and then this whole section will come off, and what you'll be left with is simply the barrel and the gas tube, and of course the front assembly right here, including the sight. So in other words, it's quite simple if you need to take the handguard off, which you do need to take it off for disassembly of the replica, which I'll briefly touch on too in a second. One annoying feature is when you put this handguard back in, making sure this wire is out of the way of the locking mechanism for the handguard. It's quite an annoying thing, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. Moving further down the gun, the receiver right here, this whole receiver, upper and lower, is a quite nice metal. It's quite nicely painted as well. It's very smooth, not very much texture to it. It's very smooth metal. Paint job is very nice. And once you hold this and see it in real life, it's a very nice paint job in my opinion. Very heavy. The whole theme of this replica is a very heavy assault rifle. You know, it's, if I had to guess, 9 pounds. Kind of a scale to do it, but it's a very heavy assault rifle. The pieces and parts here, this is a plastic bolt release that is functional. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. This fire selector here, it's quite loose. I've seen that this is actually a common problem with this replica, is this left side fire selector becomes very loose. It's still functional. I wouldn't recommend playing with it too much, as I don't know what will happen if it does come off, if it will render the whole thing useless or not. But just be wary of that. Whatever this is, it seems to be metal. This also seems to be metal. This black magazine tensioner. The trigger right here and trigger guard is metal. The trigger is also metal, and it has the trigger pull is not super, is actually quite a nice trigger pull. Not a very stiff trigger pull. Not very much room either. There's no micro switch or anything, so you're not going to get any clicks as you would with some newer replicas. As you can see, there's a spring. There's a spring right there. You can barely see it maybe, to create tension on the trigger, which it does a good job of doing that. Now removing back, the pistol grip is plastic or polymer, and a very nice feeling polymer at that. You'll see the screw there to loosen or tighten the motor height. Additionally, there's 2 Allen screws to take off the pistol grip and to remove the motor if you wish to do so. However, it's a nice feeling pistol grip. Then another sling loop right here, which is a little wobbly on my replica. However, I've used this sling loop before, and it's had no problems retaining a sling. Then the rear sight right here, which is metal. It has 2 different apertures. However, again, one that's open. Probably can't see it very well, but it's an open sight, and then you move it for a more traditional peephole sight. If you were to use this, I would recommend the open sight, as I enjoy open sights more than full rings, for rear sights at least. And then you have a metal rail. It's actually removable too, this brown rail. There's several Allen screws on the rail that you can remove. I think it's like 3 Allen screws. You can remove that rail if you wish to do so to give it a little bit different silhouette. Turning it around, you'll find the charging handle, which is the dust cover is metal. The charging handle appears to be plastic actually. The charging this knob, but the post appears to be metal. You can pull it back, and then you can lock the charging handle in place like that, and release it by pushing the bolt release, as we previously mentioned. It's quite a nice sound, in my opinion. And then also this really cool, this really cool item right here. I really like it. Looks very intricate, like with rollers and springs and so forth. Then this is the fire selector that I would utilize. It says not wobbly at all. Your mag release, which is a very loose mag release. Doesn't most magazines I have just fall straight out by just gently touching that, which is, it's not too loose though. It doesn't just fall out all willy-nilly. But so anyways, then the stock, you can just push the stock down, I believe. There's and then it'll fold over, which the stock is a very cool stock in my opinion. You'll push down on this brown part, and then it'll click out. Or actually, my apologies, you don't push down on that. You push down on this part, which is also a brown. Watch your finger, and then this part will come off, and then you can adjust the stock all the way out to here. I run it mostly in like this, more compact. But if you're maybe taller or longer arm span, this might come in handy. And then to retain it, you just simply push that in, and you'll get an audible click, and the stock is retained. This is rubber right here. This is a plastic stock, but it's a very nice feeling plastic, polymer I should say. And this rubber piece, it appears to extend up as the cheek weld and the shoulder, the buttstock I should say. So that's the externals. Overall, it's a very nice, very heavy assault rifle, but that's what you kind of want out of something like this. So internally, it's a version 2 gearbox, same thing as an M4 and other replicas with the height or the width that to accommodate an M4 gearbox. As this one has. Probably a different air nozzle, but if I had to guess, most parts are compatible with your standard M4 gearbox parts. Does not have a quick change spring, unfortunately. Mine came to me shooting about 360 FPS, or about 1.2 joules. That would be with 0.2 gram BB, which came secondhand, so I'm not sure if that's accurate for the newer replicas. Out of the box, the range was probably about 150 feet accurately, and it did struggle to hop anything heavier than a 0.25. So I would be wary of using heavier BBs. But speaking of hop, it has a plastic hop up. You're probably not going to be able to see it very well, but it's a green. They're green nub or green knobs, as you find in other G&G guns. I believe it came with a green G&G bucking as well, which actually is a pretty decent bucking out of the box. However, this is a dial style hop-up unit. It's a unique hop-up unit to this platform. I actually bought a spare hop-up unit just in case this hop-up unit were to break. I have no issue or no concerns over that. However, the dial style hop-ups, in my opinion, are better than slider style hop-ups, but not as good as rotary style hop-ups, as in some M4 platforms and other platforms like the FAL, the G3, and so forth. So I would recommend a hop-up upgrade, and it's relatively simple to access the inner barrel. To disassemble this thing, take off the handguard as I previously had shown, and then punch out this pin right there. You'll punch it out from this side, and then the upper and lower receiver will separate. But be careful of the wires inside the handguard, as you'll have to disconnect the fuse and Tamiya connector from the wires that run into the gearbox, which is you'll see what I'm talking about once you take the handguard off. And then the upper and lower receiver will separate, and then of course the outer barrel, or the inner barrel, will come out with the hop-up unit, and then of course breaking down the hop-up unit to upgrade that. And it's not the easiest, but it's not the hardest gun to disassemble. I'm not going to show you how to do it on this video, but that's a verbal instructions how to disassemble and reassembly. Just be careful again of the wires. They're kind of a pain in the ass to thread through the bottom of the handguard, as there's a very small space. You have to thread the connectors back into the handguard. So it took me a time or two to really get it down, but so that is my review of the AK5c. My final thoughts on this replica. You can buy this thing new at the time of filming this, as of March of 2024, on e-bike at least. I believe airsoft GI2 in the United States, for roughly $430. I bought this on HopUp a couple years ago for $400 secondhand. For that price, you certainly can get better performing guns out of the box. However, something as unique as this platform, it's hard to come by something at that price point with the coolness, in my opinion, and uniqueness of a gun like this, as you really don't see the FNC AK5c platform on the airsoft field very much at all. So if you really, I really enjoy the silhouette and overall look of this gun. So for $400, it was well worth my money. And with a couple simple upgrades, you're going to be competing with almost any other gun on the field. A couple of different performance I forgot to mention. Its fire rate is actually a little higher with a 7.4 than a couple other guns I reviewed. It's roughly 14 rounds a second, if I had to guess. It's a little bit higher than the FAL and Galil that I reviewed prior to this one. But anyways, I would highly recommend this gun if you're in the market for a unique assault rifle and you're not too afraid of a little bit extra heft to it. So, all right, I hope to see more AK5Cs out on the field after this review. But anyways, I hope this informs you a little bit more about one of the coolest guns, in my opinion, you can buy in the airsoft world today. All right, have a good day.